Welcome, gentle dreamer. Tonight's story comes from a time when gods walked among mortals, when wishes could be granted with a touch, and when the difference between blessing and curse was sometimes no more than a heartbeat, a choice, a moment of wanting more than wisdom would allow. We journey to the kingdom of Phrygia, to the palace of a king whose name has echoed through thousands of years, whose story carries a lesson both simple and profound, whose golden touch teaches us what truly matters in this brief, precious life. Our story begins. Settle yourself here in this peaceful moment. Feel the softness of your bed cradling your body, the gentle weight of blankets holding warmth around you. Feel the air moving in and out of your lungs, effortless and perfect, your body breathing itself without needing your thought or care. The room around you grows still and quiet. Beyond your walls, the world continues its endless motion. But here, now, you are held in a pocket of peace, a sanctuary of rest, a space where stories unfold like flowers opening slowly to moonlight. Imagine, if you will, a kingdom in springtime. The sun shines warm and golden over rolling hills, over vineyards heavy with grapes, over olive groves where silver-green leaves shimmer in the breeze. The palace sits atop a gentle rise, its white marble walls gleaming, its gardens filled with roses that perfume the air with sweetness. This is a prosperous kingdom, blessed with fertile soil and gentle weather, ruled by a king both wealthy and kind. The people love their ruler, for he is generous with his gold, fair in his judgments, quick to laugh, and slow to anger. His name is Midas, and he wants for nothing, or so it seems. Parliamentary sits in his treasure room on a spring afternoon, sunlight streaming through high windows, turning everything it touches to liquid gold. Around him, chests overflow with coins, shelves hold goblets and platters of precious metal, walls are hung with ornaments that catch the light and throw it back in dazzling patterns. The king runs his hands them chink and whisper as they cascade between his fingers. Each coin tells a story, this one from a merchant's payment for olive oil, that one from taxes collected in the northern provinces, another from the sale of wine to distant kingdoms. He lifts a golden cup, turns it in the light, admires the craftsmanship that shaped the metal into something, both beautiful and valuable. The cup's handle is formed like a grapevine, delicate leaves curling around the rim, tiny clusters of golden grapes hanging from golden stems. He counts his wealth, not because he needs to know the amount, but because the counting itself brings him pleasure, a deep satisfaction that settles warm in his chest. 100 coins, 200, 500, 1,000. The numbers grow, and with them, a feeling of security, of power, of significance. Each coin seems to say, you are important, you are successful, you are worthy. But even this is not enough. King Midas has more wealth than his father had, more than his grandfather, more than most kingdoms in the known world. His treasury overflows. His vaults can barely contain the riches he has accumulated through wise trade, careful governance, and the natural bounty of his fertile lands. He should be satisfied. He should be content. Yet even as he sits surrounded by more gold than most kingdoms possess, King Midas feels a small, persistent wanting. More, something whispers inside him. You could have more. You should have more. What if every touch turned things to gold? What if wealth flowed from your very fingertips? What if you never had to worry about losing it, about thieves stealing it, about trade routes failing or harvests disappointing? The thought is seductive, intoxicating. To create gold with a touch, to transform the ordinary into the precious, to make wealth as easily as breathing. Surely that would bring true satisfaction. Surely that would be enough. Not yet. It sits inside him like a seed, small and quiet, waiting for the right conditions to grow. It waits through the afternoon as he continues sorting his gold. It waits through dinner, where he eats rich foods without tasting them, his mind still in the treasury. It waits through the evening as he walks through his palace, seeing not the beauty of carved wood and woven tapestries, but calculating what they might be worth if they were gold. The seed of wanting grows roots, sends up shoots, prepares to bloom into something that will change everything. That evening, as the sun sets and the treasure room fills with long shadows, King Midas hears a sound, footsteps approaching where no footsteps should be. The door is locked. The guards stand watch outside. Yet someone walks through his private chamber as though walls and doors mean nothing. The king turns, startled, and sees a figure standing in a shaft of golden sunset light. The stranger is tall and elegant, dressed in robes that seem woven from mist and starlight, crowned with grape leaves and ivy. His eyes hold depths like wine, ancient and knowing, kind and dangerous in equal measure. King Midas knows immediately who stands before him. This is Dionysus, god of wine and revelry, of transformation and ecstasy, of gifts that can bless or curse, depending on how they are received. "Great Dionysus," the king stammers, falling to his knees, "you honor my humble treasury with your presence." The god smiles, and the room seems to brighten. "Rise, Midas. I come to offer thanks, not to receive it. Your people found my companion Silenus wandering lost in your vineyards. They treated him with kindness, gave him wine and music and a soft bed, then brought him safely back to me. For this courtesy, I wish to grant you a reward. Ask for anything, and it shall be yours." Midas's heart leaps. Anything, any wish, any desire fulfilled with just a word. The seed of wanting that has been growing inside him suddenly blooms, filling his chest, his throat, his mouth with its sweetness. "Great God," he says, and his voice trembles with eagerness, "grant me this, that everything I touch might turn to gold." Dionysus's smile fades. His eyes grow serious, searching Midas's face. "Are you certain this is what you wish? Gold is beautiful, yes, but it is cold and hard. It does not laugh or love. It does not grow or change except to tarnish. Think carefully before you ask for this." Penetrated, Midas, already imagining the wealth that will be his, the power and prestige of unlimited gold, does not think carefully. He thinks only of having more, of never wanting, of being the richest king who ever lived. "I am certain," he says firmly. "Let my touch turn all things to gold." Dionysus sighs, a sound like wind through autumn leaves. "Then it is done. At sunrise tomorrow, you will have what you have asked for. May you find wisdom in what follows, Midas. You will need it." Characterization like morning mist, leaving behind only the faint scent of grapes and the soft echo of his warning. But Midas does not think about warnings. He thinks only of tomorrow, of the golden touch, of wealth beyond imagining. That night he barely sleeps. He tosses in his bed, imagining all the things he will transform, every stone in his kingdom turned to gold, every tree, every flower. His mind spins with visions of gleaming palaces, golden roads, statues of precious metal rising from every hillside. When dawn finally comes, painting the sky in shades of rose and amber, Midas leaps from his bed. His hand accidentally brushes the bedpost as he rises, and he feels a strange tingling in his fingers. He looks down and gasps. The wooden post has turned to solid gold. The grain of the wood is still visible, perfectly preserved in metal, but it is no longer wood. It is gold, heavy and gleaming and worth a fortune. Midas laughs aloud, a sound of pure joy and triumph. It worked! The god kept his promise. He runs his hand along the bed frame, watching as wood transforms to gold beneath his touch. He touches the wall, the floor, the curtains. Everything he brushes becomes precious metal, unchanging and eternal. He dresses quickly, turning his clothes to gold as he pulls them on. They are stiff and heavy, uncomfortable against his skin, but he does not care. They are gold! He rushes through the palace, touching pillars and changing them to gold, touching statues and making them infinitely more valuable, touching everything he can reach and watching the transformation happen again and again. The Sregurvants see him and cry out in amazement. The guards stare in wonder. Word spreads through the palace like wildfire. The king has been blessed by the gods. Everything he touches turns to gold. Midas feels powerful, invincible, chosen. He walks through his gardens, turning roses to gold. They lose their scent, their softness, their living beauty, but they gain eternal preservation, perfect golden forms that will never wilt or fade. He touches the fountain, and the water freezes mid-flow, becoming a sculpture of golden droplets suspended forever in air. Everything he sees, he wants to transform. The world is not beautiful enough in its natural state. It must be made golden, precious, valuable. He does not notice how the garden grows silent as the golden flowers attract no bees, no butterflies, no living things. He does not notice how the air loses its sweetness when roses become metal. Notices only the gold, the gleaming, glorious gold. By mid-morning, Midas grows hungry. His breakfast awaits him in the dining hall. Bread and honey, grapes and cheese, cool water in a silver cup. He sits at the table, still giddy with his power, and reaches for the bread. The moment his fingers touch the crust, it transforms. The soft, warm bread becomes a loaf of solid gold, hard and cold and utterly inedible. Midas frowns, sets it aside, reaches for the grapes. They too turn to gold, each one a perfect metallic sphere, beautiful but useless. The cheese, the honey, the water in the cup, everything he tries to eat or drink transforms the instant he touches it. Even lifting the golden cup to his lips does nothing, for the water inside has become solid metal. Small tendril of fear curls in Midas's stomach. He cannot eat gold. He cannot drink gold. But surely this is just a small inconvenience. Surely there is a way around it. Perhaps his servants can feed him, placing food directly in his mouth without his hands touching it. He calls for his servants, explains the problem. They try, they truly do. But the moment food crosses Midas's lips, the moment it touches his tongue, it turns to gold. He cannot eat. He cannot drink. His golden touch extends even to things that enter his mouth. The fear grows stronger. Midas pushes away from the table, trying to calm himself, trying to think. This is fine. He can endure hunger for a while. Surely Dionysus will appear again, will explain how to control the gift, how to turn it off when needed. But the god does not appear. The hours pass, and Midas grows hungrier, thirstier, more desperate. The golden palace that seemed so wonderful in the morning now feels like a prison, every golden surface a reminder of his growing predicament. As afternoon fades toward evening, Midas sits alone in his throne room, surrounded by gold he cannot enjoy, wealth he cannot use. His stomach aches with a hunger he has never known before, not the simple hunger of missing a meal, but the deep, gnawing hunger of a body beginning to starve. His throat burns with thirst that grows more intense with each passing hour. His skin feels dry and hot, his lips cracking, his tongue thick in his mouth. He tries to distract himself by looking at his golden palace, trying to find joy in what he has created. The throne beneath him is solid gold now, uncomfortable and cold despite the afternoon sun warming the metal. The floor gleams like a golden mirror, reflecting his miserable face back at him in distorted patterns. The walls shine with golden magnificence, but they feel like prison walls, trapping him in his own terrible wish. Servants hover nearby, anxious and uncertain. They have tried to help, tried to feed him, to give him water, but nothing works. Everything turns to gold. They whisper among themselves, wondering if the king will die, wondering if this gift from the gods is actually a curse, wondering what will happen to the kingdom if its ruler cannot eat or drink. Midas hears their whispers and feels a new emotion rising alongside his hunger and thirst. Shame. He is the king. He is supposed to be wise, to make good decisions, to protect his people. Instead, he has made a foolish wish born of greed, and now he sits golden and useless, unable even to feed himself. For Dionysus, of begging the god to take back the gift. But pride holds him silent. Surely there is a way to make this work. Surely he just needs to be clever, to find a solution, to adapt to his new circumstances. He is a king, after all. Kings solve problems. They do not admit defeat after just one day. But even as he thinks this, doubt gnaws at him. What if this is permanent? What if he is doomed to slowly starve to death, surrounded by infinite wealth, teaching the cruelest possible lesson about the value of gold? Sluggish. Then he hears small footsteps approaching, quick, light, familiar. His heart lifts despite his discomfort. His daughter, his beloved child, the light of his life, is coming to see him. He appears in the doorway, 10 years old and beautiful, her hair ribboned with flowers from the garden, flowers that are still alive because she picked them before his golden touch transformed the rose bushes. Her dress is simple but clean, woven from wool and dyed with berry juice, the work of the palace servants who love her almost as much as her father does. She smiles when she sees him, that innocent, trusting smile that has always melted his heart, that has comforted him through difficult decisions and long, lonely nights since her mother died 3 years ago. She is all he has left of his beloved wife. She has her mother's eyes, her mother's laugh, her mother's gentle heart. Midas lives for her smiles, works for her future, dreams of the woman she will become, kind, wise, happy. She calls, running toward him with the careless joy of a child who has never known fear, never imagined that harm could come from the person who loves her most. The servants say you can turn things to gold. They say Dionysus blessed you. Will you show me? Will you turn my doll to gold? She would be so pretty. I could show her to all my friends, and they would think she was magic. Midas's blood turns cold. All the discomfort of his hunger and thirst vanishes, replaced by pure, icy terror. He holds up his hands, panic rising in his throat like bile. Stop! Don't come closer! Stay where you are! His daughter pauses, confused. She has never heard this tone from her father before, this desperate, frightened tone. Usually he speaks to her with warmth, with affection, with patient kindness. This sharp command is so unlike. Show him that she hesitates, her smile faltering. But father, she says, uncertainty creeping into her voice, I want to see the golden touch. Please, just once. I promise I'll be good. I'll go to bed early. I'll do my lessons, anything you want. No! Midas cries, standing up from his golden throne so quickly that it scrapes across the golden floor with a terrible shrieking sound. You must not touch me. Not now. Not until... But his daughter does not understand. She thinks this is a game, or perhaps a test. She thinks maybe she needs to prove her love, her devotion, her desire to be close to him. So she does what children do when they feel uncertain. She runs to the person who always makes her feel safe. Laughing, thinking this must be some new way of playing, she runs forward, arms outstretched to embrace him, to receive the comfort that his arms have always provided, to feel the safety she has always known in his presence. No! Midas cries again, trying to dodge, away, trying to move aside, his hands still held up in useless warning. But he is too slow, his body weakened by hunger, his reactions dulled by panic. She crashes into him, throwing her small arms around his waist, pressing her face against his chest where she has cried out her nightmares, and shared her secrets, and listened to his heartbeat when she needed comfort. And in an instant, in one terrible, irreversible moment, she transforms. Midas feels it happening, feels the warm, living softness of his child's body growing cold and hard beneath his hands. The transformation starts where her skin touches his, rippling outward like rings in water, spreading through her with terrible speed. He watches in horror as the color drains from her hair, replaced by metallic gold. He sees her skin, soft, warm, marked with the small scars of childhood adventures, turning into hard, cold metal, losing all its life, all its resilience, all its precious imperfection. Her dress transformed, too, the simple wool becoming stiff golden fabric, the berry-dyed color replaced by monochrome gleam. The flowers in her hair become golden ornaments. Even her breath stops mid-inhale, her lungs freezing into solid metal, her heart stilling between one beat and the next. He looks down into her face and sees her eyes, those bright, trusting eyes, the eyes that hold his whole world, glazing over into solid gold. They catch the evening light streaming through the windows and reflect it back at him, but they do not see. They will never see again. She does not even have time to scream, to call out, to understand what is happening to her. One moment she is his living, laughing daughter, reaching for the embrace that has always been her safe place. The next, she is a golden statue, frozen in mid-motion, her face tilted up toward his, her mouth open in what was going to be a word, perhaps father, perhaps I love you, perhaps just a happy exclamation, but will now never be spoken. The golden statue captures her perfectly, every detail of her face, every fold of her dress, every strand of hair. But it is not her. It is a monument to her, a memorial, a terrible golden reminder of what his greed has cost him. Midas staggers backward, a sound tearing from his throat that is neither word nor scream, but pure anguish. He reaches for his daughter's golden face, then pulls back, terrified to touch her again, though what worse thing could his touch do now? She is already lost, already transformed, already gone. He falls to his knees beside the golden statue, sobs racking his body. All the treasure in his kingdom, all the gold he has accumulated and created, means nothing, less than nothing, compared to the living, breathing, laughing child who is now cold metal in his arms. "Take it back!" he cries out to the empty air, to the gods, to anyone who might listen. "Take back this gift! I don't want it! I never wanted it! I want my daughter! I want bread and water and living roses! I want anything, everything except this terrible gold!" For a long moment, there is only silence and the king's harsh breathing. Then, like mist forming from clear air, Dionysus appears once more. But this time, there is no smile on the god's face, only deep sadness and something that might be pity. "Have you learned, Midas?" the god asks quietly. "Do you understand now what I tried to tell you?" Slashing low, tears streaming down his face, his voice breaking. "I understand that I am a fool. I understand that I chose gold over life, wealth over love, having over being. Please, great Dionysus, I beg you, take back your gift. Restore my daughter. I will give up all my gold, all my wealth, everything I own, if you will only make her live again." Dionysus nods slowly. "Now you speak wisdom. Now you understand what has value and what does not. Very well, Midas. I will lift this curse, for curse it has become, though you called it a blessing. Go to the river Pactolus at sunrise. Wade into its waters and wash yourself clean. The golden touch will flow from you into the river, and all you have transformed will be restored." "My daughter too," Midas whispers, hardly daring to hope. "Your daughter too," Dionysus confirms. "But remember this lesson, King Midas. Remember it all your days. True wealth is not gold or jewels or precious metals. True wealth is love and life, bread and water, the laughter of children and the scent of roses. These things cannot be bought or created by magic. They can only be received with gratitude, cherished with care, and shared with generosity." The god fades again, leaving Midas alone with his golden daughter and his golden palace, and the night slowly falling around him. The king does not sleep that night. He sits beside the golden statue of his daughter, speaking to her as though she can hear, telling her all the things he should have said when she was alive, how much he loves her, how sorry he is, how he would trade every golden thing in the world for one more moment of her laughter. He tells her about the games they will play when she is restored, the stories he will read to her, the hours he will spend with her instead of in his treasure room. He promises to be a better father, a wiser king, a man who understands what truly matters. The night stretches long and dark and terrible, every minute an agony of waiting, every hour a lesson in regret. Midas sits on the golden floor beside the golden statue of his daughter, unable to bear leaving her alone, unable to find comfort anywhere else in his transformed palace. He speaks to her throughout the night, his voice growing hoarse, his throat burning with thirst he cannot slake, but still he speaks. He tells her about the day she was born, how she came into the world small and perfect, how she wrapped her tiny hand around his finger, and he felt his heart expand with a love he had never imagined possible. He tells her about her first words, her first steps, the first time she laughed so hard she got hiccups. He tells her about her mother, stories he should have shared when she was alive to hear them, memories he hoarded like gold instead of sharing like the treasures they truly were. He tells her how her mother loved roses, how she would spend hours in the garden tending them, talking to them as though they were friends. He tells her how her mother sang while she worked, how her voice made even the most ordinary tasks seem special. He promises her, though she cannot hear, though she may never hear again, that if she is restored, he will be different. He will spend less time in the treasury and more time in the garden. He will read to her every night. He will listen when she talks about her day, really listen, not just nod while thinking about gold. He will teach her to ride horses and to tend the vines and to recognize the names of stars. He will tell her every day
that he loves her,
not assume she knows. Glued to be the father she deserves, not the one she has endured, the one who gave her gifts instead of time, who provided luxury instead of presence, who was there in body but often absent in spirit, his mind always drifting back to his treasure room, to his accounts, to his endless wanting for more. "I'm sorry," he whispers to the golden statue, tears streaming down his face, catching the moonlight that streams through the window. "I'm so sorry, my darling. I chose gold over you. I chose wanting over loving. I chose having over being. Forgive me. Please, forgive me." The statue does not respond. It cannot. It stands frozen in that terrible moment of reaching for her father, preserved forever in an embrace that will never be completed unless Dionysus keeps his word. Blindness. The night slowly gives way to the first hints of dawn. The stars fade one by one. The deep indigo sky softens to purple, then to blue, then to the pale rose gold of sunrise. It is the most beautiful dawn Midas has ever seen, because it might be the dawn of restoration, the morning when he gets a second chance, when his daughter returns to life. Or it might be the dawn that confirms his loss forever. He will not know until he reaches the river, until he follows Dionysus's instructions, until he wades into the Pactolus and sees whether the god's promise was truth or cruel jest. Midas gently lifts the statue of his daughter. She is surprisingly heavy, solid gold always is, and his arms ache with the weight. His body, weakened by a day and night without food or water, trembles with the effort. But he does not set her down, does not even shift her to a more comfortable position. She deserves to be held with care, with tenderness, with all the love he failed to show her when she was alive. He carries her through the golden palace, through halls that echo with his footsteps and empty silence. He passes the golden tapestries that were once colorful wool. He passes the golden doors that were once carved oak. He passes the golden furniture that was once comfortable and warm. Everything is precious now. Everything is valuable, and all of it is utterly worthless compared to the burden in his arms. He carries her through the golden gardens where golden roses will never bloom again, where golden fountains will never flow with living water, where golden trees will never grow new leaves or bear fruit. The gardens are silent. No birds sing, no bees buzz, No wind whispers through leaves. There is only the crunch of his footsteps on golden gravel and the harsh sound of his breathing. He carries legs shaking, his arms burning, but his grip never faltering. She is the most precious burden he has ever borne, and he will not drop her, will not let her fall, will not fail her in this, even if he has failed her in everything else. The Pactolus comes into view, a ribbon of silver in the growing light, flowing gently through the valley, fed by mountain springs that taste of snow and stone and ancient purity. It is the same river that has watered his kingdom for generations, that has filled his wells and irrigated his fields and given life to everything that grows in his fertile land. Now, it will either give life back to his daughter or confirm that she is lost forever. Reaches the river's edge. The water is cold. He can see mist rising from its surface where it meets the warming air. The sound of it flowing over smooth stones is gentle, peaceful, eternal. It has flowed this way for thousands of years, and it will flow this way for thousands more, indifferent to human joy or sorrow, offering its gifts to all without judgment or preference. He looks down at the golden statue in his arms one more time. In the dawn light, she is beautiful, heartbreakingly beautiful, every detail perfect, every line preserved. But she is not alive. Beauty without life is just decoration, just ornament, just gold. Please, he whispers to the river, to the gods, to fate itself. Please let this work. I will give anything. I will do anything. Just give her back to me. Then, gathering his courage, Midas wades into the water, still carrying his daughter's statue. The cold shocks his feet, his ankles, his calves. The current tugs at his robes, soaking them, making them heavy, dragging at his weakened body. The smooth stones of the riverbed shift under his feet, slippery and treacherous. He struggles to keep his balance, to keep his daughter's statue secure in his arms, to move deeper into the flow. The water reaches his waist. It soaks through his golden clothes, which are returning to fabric now, he realizes with a flutter of hope, and touches his skin with its mountain chill. He gasps at the cold, but he does not stop. He cannot stop. Not when he is this close. Not when restoration might be just moments away. He lowers himself into the water, submerging himself to his shoulders, still holding his daughter above the surface, not yet ready to let the river touch her, not yet willing to trust completely. For a moment, nothing happens. The water flows around him, cold and clean.